Hello and welcome to Just Hoops. Scottie Barnes is one of the most young, exciting, and highly talented players in the modern NBA. Only 2 seasons into his career, he has shown a ton of promise, but last season, a lot of people got on him heavily for not improving from his freshman to his sophomore season, staying pretty status quo. He dropped in all of his shooting stats, just not having that same impact and pop in his game that we saw with him as a freshman. But going into his 3rd season in the NBA, I think that it will be a big explosion for him at both ends of the floor. Yes, last season he was a plus 5.5 in his on-off numbers, but in this video we're going to dive into his game from last season, see what stood out, and how he can be great moving forward and fulfill his potential. So to talk about his offensive game first, around the basket, Scottie Barnes is most successful. You look at his shot chart, most of his shot attempts come from within 5 feet. He shot 66% from there last year, and let's see what made him so good from this area of the floor. First things first, on the break, he did a tremendous job at running out alongside the ball, running and pushing the pace himself with the ball in his hands, and just finishing these plays. You see the aggressiveness, you see the patience also. Just the way that he's able to get into the lane and finish these plays consistently, both with authority and finesse. The ability to go right, go left, finish off 2 feet, finish off 1 foot. Just doing it in any way, shape, or form that has seen best fit. Also being a lob threat, as you saw there in the Philly clip, but just being able to get downhill, make plays early in offense, and finish those plays at the cup with tremendous poise, patience, and authority. Then to get into more of a half-court setting, you can see he did a tremendous job throughout both his freshman and sophomore campaigns at just putting himself on the right spots on the floor to go make a play, whether that's slashing and cutting, being open off the ball to go and do a running catch and go downhill, make a play happen, or just parking himself on the porch, moving and being available below the basket to catch, turn, finish, or even just posting up and sealing in a very high level way, and just doing all these things consistently enough to give himself opportunities around the basket to use his size, strength, athletic ability to go finish these plays at the highest of levels. Scottie has shown a tremendous feel and IQ for the game at both ends of the floor, but to talk about offensively, you can see in these clips the way that he positions himself on the floor is just so elite. Whether it's offensive rebound opportunities or playing off of other guys, he just puts himself in the spot all the time to be as successful as possible and just be in positions to attack and make plays around the basket where he is most successful. And the last part of his ability to finish around the basket comes down to self-creation. As we look at the future of Scottie Barnes and his career in whole, I think that the biggest separator will be his ability to create his own shot, use his ability to put the ball on the ground, get to the basket, and finish those plays that we know he can. Being able to create angles, use his size, strength, be able to change pace, change direction, and go downhill, make plays happen, and also score out of the post, those will be the biggest separators in him being a very good player and an all-star. Now to get into the jump shot. Scottie Barnes' biggest criticism from people in the NBA is the jump shot. Only a 30% career three-point shooter. We'll talk about the mid-range next, but when it comes to the three ball, I'm actually more optimistic than most. I think he has a great foundation to his shot. He knows how to position himself off the ball really well. I think he has a very fluid release in catch and shoot situations where he can get his feet down, elevate, release the ball consistently over time. And I think that he is scratching the surface on how good he can be. I think at minimum he can be a league average 3-point threat in catch and shoot situations, but I do think he has the potential of being a 38-39% 3-point shooter in these spots, and I think that he's just scratching the surface of how good of a shooter he can be. But next we got to talk about the mid-range. Last season he only shot 39% from all mid-range spots, while his rookie season he shot 43%. Yes, that dip is massive in terms of his game. He gets a lot of shots off in the second level. I think the biggest thing for him is being consistent with his release and being consistent with his work. I think when it comes to the release, there were times where he was off in terms of his timing, releasing the ball early, releasing it late, doing different things with his footwork. I think he just needs to find what is comfortable for him and do it consistently and not try to do too much, not try to jump in the air, turning in the air and putting up a 15-footer. Just getting to his spots and being consistent in those spots and knocking it down. When it comes to the good stuff, though, about his jumper, you can see that he does have great poise and patience when he is getting to his spots, when he is getting his feet down, when he is elevating under control and having tremendous flow. In this clip here, you can see that he has a really good fluid release and does a really good job with his jump shot in general. I think it also shows his ability to create his own shot off the bounce, being able to put it on the ground for his size, position, his length is just as good as anyone in the league at this spot. I think his potential at doing so is incredibly high, being a Paul George level ball handler, but at the end of the day, the shot creation is what is the separator moving forward. This clip here, you see him attacking the midline, getting both feet down, being physical, elevating up and over the defense, great flow in his jump shot, being able to knock it down, and here against Boston, attacking the mismatch, snapping it between his legs, finding his feet and elevating. He has a chance to be really good at shot creation. Playmaking ability is one of the biggest strong suits of Scottie Barnes' game. I think he is a point guard at heart. He's just very tall, very lengthy, so he's not the positional point guard, but at the end of the day, he knows how to make the right play on the floor consistently. This first bunch of clips is him in transition, knowing when to throw it ahead when he has a teammate available to him. He knows when he has the ball in his hands, where the openings are. He's incredibly patient as a ball handler in transition at finding the openings, knowing where the openings are, and he knows how to deliver the ball in different ways, but always on time and on target for his guys to be successful. Next, when it comes to interior passing, both as a post threat and as a driving kicker, he does a great job at interior passing between himself and other bigs in the lane, on the porch, dump downs, those type of situations. But when he touches paint, he does a great job at visualizing, seeing where the defense is coming from, seeing the entire floor, and just making the smart, under control decision where his teammates are available to go make a play. And the same thing applies to the perimeter. He knows where the defense is rotating. He finds the open guy. Yes, there are times where he's in the air making very tough and out of control passes, but they're on time and on target, and they put his teammates in a spot to be highly successful. I think moving forward for Scottie Barnes, this is one thing that will be consistent for him and one thing that will make him shine amongst other guys at his position. And lastly, we got to talk about the defensive end. Scottie Barnes is an absolute stud as an individual defender. The way that he sits in his stance is able to guard the best players in basketball and do so in some of the most highly impactful ways possible. You can see in these clips, he guards the likes of Zach LaVine, Paul George, Jamal Murray, and so on and so forth. High-level individual talents, and he goes out there, slows them down. He's in a tremendous stance. He stays low. He stays active. His hand activity is next level, averaging over a steal per game over his first 2 seasons in the NBA. The way this guy goes out there and plays defense is just fun to watch. He's highly active. He is locked in. And he's just a winner at this end of the floor. He's willing to take on some of the biggest names in basketball, like we said earlier, but he does so in such a fundamentally sound way, using his chest as the primary point of contact, being physical without fouling. His hands are up and out. Yes, he does reach at times, but he knows his spots. He knows when to slide. He knows when to turn his hips and run to a spot. All the things that add up to getting stops on an individual basis, he does at the best possible level. And with all that being said, he's also able to guard on the inside, guard guys with size and strength, and be just as physical and strong as them, holding his position, being great in those ways, staying vertical, making plays happen. And then after all of this, he's a tremendous help side defender, picking off passes, disrupting passing lanes, contesting shots, blocking shots on the help side, just doing everything possible in his power to make winning plays at the defensive end of the floor. Scottie Barnes has all the talent and potential in the world. Next season, the Raptors are going to look a little different without Fred VanVleet and the possibility of trades incoming, but I think Scottie Barnes is there to stay, and he has a chance to be a face of a franchise and the face of basketball in Canada. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something about Scottie Barnes, his potential, his game, and what we have to look forward to from him. For more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next one.